NBA
Let's
playoffs.
talk NBA.
We'll start with the OKC Thunder, the team that won the most games this season. I don't actually have the record on hand.
64-18.
Thank you, 64-18, JP. And as talked about on last week's weekly segments, and they were the winner of chicken dinner. They are now the 1 seed out of the West for the 3rd straight year, and they are looking to repeat off of a fairly dominant regular season. Not as dominant as we initially maybe thought it would be when they started off like 24-1.
Yeah.
Some injuries got to them a little bit. They just kind of battled. Caruso missed a lot of time. Shea missed a stretch. Jay Will only played 30 games this season, roughly. Just
33.
Battling the wrist issue carrying over from last year's playoff run, and then some hamstring issues, and then just a bunch of other people being in and out of the roster. It's not uncommon for when a team makes the run to the finals for them to have an increase in injuries the next year. They played for so much longer, they get less rest. So they dropped off a little bit, but even so, the drop-off just took them down to 64 wins, which is still quite phenomenal. Their net rating in their last 15 games, so roughly, a little less than the last month, 16.9, which is quite phenomenal. They're kind of just back at it, what you're always used to from them these past couple seasons of great defensive intensity, and then on the offensive side, it's let's let Shea cook, let's try and knock down enough open shots, and then let some of the secondary guys cook, even if that's maybe been a bit of a, I'm not gonna say a weakness this season, but it's just more of a nitpick of like, if you want to say what may do OKC and in the playoffs, and I'm an OKC hater. I'm not gonna lie. You can see my Wembanyama jersey on the wall behind me. Let me find the numbers. Jalen Williams is only averaging 17, 5, and 7 this season, 50% from the field, only shooting 30% from three. He's just been in and out of the lineup. He's not really found consistency. Maybe hopefully found a little bit down the stretch of the season. Additionally, Dort is down. He shot 41% from three last year. He's down to 34% this season. Caruso shot 36% from three last season. He's down to 30% this season. So this is still kind of honestly what the concern was with them last season is they may just not hit enough shots. Now, to their credit, that was the concern last season. It didn't matter. They won the whole thing. Shea's so good. Their defense is so good. And they do have enough solid shooters that it just may not matter. But that's just out the gate. My quick, if they weren't to go on the run as the best team, if something was to come back to bite them, that may be what it is.
I got two that I think that are different than those.
Sure.
For one, I think of front court depth. Outside of Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, like, who are you going to trust as a five? Potentially, if either of them get in foul trouble, they'll go to more than likely Jay Will.
Yeah, which I apologize. I meant J-Dub previously, talking about Jalen Williams, the small forward shooting guard, where, Jay Will are first to the center. So thank you, but continue.
Yeah, I think most likely, that's the pretty obvious one. They'll go to him. He's got postseason experience as well.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who can just eat minutes, grab some rebounds, foul a few times. Just
try and draw a couple charges.
Yeah, he can definitely draw a few charges. I think of that as a potential, like, what bodies are they going to be able to throw at? Now, they're only going to face one of them, but Wemby or Jokic, what bodies can they throw at those two guys? There's no Şengün to a degree, but they, I think, have a good matchup in Şengün and kind of know how to handle that to a degree. The other one I think is they have so many guards that will play minutes, and Shea, A.J. Mitchell, who's had a phenomenal season this year out of nowhere, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, Aaron Wiggins, Kaysen Wallace, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. That's 8 guards.
Yeah.
They're going to shorten that rotation. Only 4 or 5 of those guards are going to play consistent minutes. When they pick whichever guard that is that plays the 18 bench minutes, does he have the night off the bench to pay that off is a question.
Yeah, Dagnall's got to hit the right buttons.
You have to make the right decision there. If you go with one guy and he sucks, well, then do you pull the plug and go with the other guy the next game? And what if he sucks? Then the next guy. I think that's a potential problem for them. That being said, I think this is a team that's going to be really hard to beat 4 times in 7 games, especially with their home court advantage.
And you talk about playoff experience, like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to go all the way down to Jared McCain if you sort by minutes played to get to a guy who doesn't have playoff experience. That's how deep this team is. SGA, Chet, J-Dub, Lou Dort, Kaysen Wallace was on the team last year. A.J. Mitchell was on the team last year. Isaiah Hartenstein. Aaron Wiggins was on the team last year. Isaiah Joe was on the team last year. Jay Will, Alex Caruso, and then you
Caruso's
finally
won 2 different championships too.
One with the Lakers and one with the Thunder, and then finally you get to Jared McCain, who was on the team last year. So it's not just like, Jay Will that provides depth and playoff experience. It's the entire roster. I mean, you have to go through.
It's just the same team.
It's the same team.
It's
Yeah,
just the same
exactly,
team.
exactly. So that's like they can really not stand to lose anybody. But if one person gets in foul trouble, like this is a very, very deep team and a very, very experienced.
The
team.
only person they can't afford to lose is Shea.
Right.
They could lose
I don't know. Jared McCain's looked really good. No, I'm kidding.
anyone else from this roster, and I mean, obviously, you lose Chet, you lose J-Dub. Your prospects get darker. It gets a lot harder, but they're deep enough to make it happen, which is a good plus because it's a long playoffs. And like I said, they made the run last season, and so they've already seen it this year. Like, just people have been more banged up, and people are missing more games. If, say, J-Dub re-aggravates his hamstring injury, they can recover and be just fine. They're just so well set up. They really do need to take advantage of this opportunity in front of them. And one, JP already mentioned it, but the Nuggets and Spurs are on the other side of the bracket. And in the second round, which we'll get to that first round matchup later, but you're either going to play the Rockets, who have had a bit of a disappointing season, or the Lakers, who AR definitely will not be playing in the first round, and Luka's at least going to miss the start of the first round. And so, likely the Lakers don't make it past the Rockets and you get the Rockets instead of the Nuggets or Spurs. So theoretically, okay, you should just be a shoo-in for the conference finals, go and win it, because after this season, they are going to have to try and make some more tough decisions contract-wise. And so becoming the first team to go back-to-back since, I guess, Golden State.
Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State.
With Kevin Durant.
Would be a big accomplishment and something you can't really afford to pass up. I don't really have too much more on this team. I mean, they're just so phenomenal. You can't really sing their praises enough, even though, if I don't really want to. But they're so business-like, and they just, led by Shea, they'll go out and handle business. And I guess the last thing I do actually want to say is Shea has really taken a step up this season in terms of, late game scenarios. He's kind of become a guy where it's he's probably going to win Clutch Player of the Year, which is, kind of a dumb award, honestly. But he really is someone that has gotten to the point of his career where he takes a last-minute shot. You just kind of expect it to go in. You're, just basically saying a prayer. You're shocked when it doesn't fall. And so if you are playing the Thunder, probably don't end up in a clutch game and expect to win it, because he's just become that special in those moments on top of everything else he does throughout the whole game.
Yeah, he raised his shooting percentage by 3% this year. He's up to a career best 60% from the field.
Ridiculous.
And, of course, much to the demise of Twitter fans, led the league in free throw makes per game this year for the 3rd straight season.
Shout out to him.
No, I'm not going to rage bait. I'm not going to.
Go ahead.
Is the season a disappointment even if OKC wins because they didn't break the record for most wins in a season? Because you kind of expected to win the championship. I feel like OKC fans fairly expected to win the championship.
I don't think so, because we're going to get...
Go ahead.
Are the season just a disappointment for OKC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, if you're OKC, I feel like you kind of expect to win the championship. And then when you start 24-1, which that's not technically a preseason expectation, but, maybe that reinforced the preseason expectations of we might be the best team of all time. And then to kind of finish as, not a mediocre champion. So if they win the championship, they're just kind of, I would say, a good championship team to average championship team. They aren't, the elite team that we thought they might have been a third of the way into the season.
There's no way to call a season a disappointment when you win the championship.
Correct. That's why it was kind of a rage-baity question.
There's just no way. I guess maybe if you'd won 20 in a row and it was hey, now I got to try and do something different.
Yeah,
but
what are we going to do? What are we going to do this year? We're only shooting threes.
And maybe it could be kind of that way for, the Chiefs when they were going for the three-peat, and it was once they lost the undefeated season.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were 15-2.
Which that would have only if they had won the three-peat.
They were trying to do what Brady couldn't do.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
in that case, had they won the three-peat, maybe there's an argument there. But then, Mahomes would have been solidified as it's GOAT versus GOAT conversation. It's literally LeBron and Jordan at that point.
Yeah, I'll never say I'll never say a championship season is disappointment, but especially when you've only won one, you're still a young team who, in a way, is still getting better, as great as they already are. Yeah, you just can't be at the realm. You are correct. It was a bit of a rage baiting question. So good preface.